Hello. There is so much similar with chimpanzees and humans. One is the biology. Chimpanzee and human DNA structure differs by only just over 1%. We can catch their infectious diseases and they can catch or be infected with all of ours. The brain is almost identical in structure, it's just that ours is bigger. The lifespan, they can live to be more than 60 years. There are long-term supportive friendly bonds between mothers and their offspring and between brothers and sisters. Very complex social structure. Young ones learn, like our children, through observing and imitating and practicing, so you can actually get cultures in different communities because the behavior is passed from one generation to the next in this way. And then when they communicate, okay, they have a lot of sounds which aren't particularly like ours, but they also kiss, embrace, hold hands, pat one another on the back, swagger, shake a fist, throw rocks, and they use and make tools. When I first began the research, I didn't even want to be a scientist. I just wanted to live with animals and write books about them ever since the age of 10. And Louis Leakey believed in me and somehow got the money together for me to go out. After I'd been in the field 1.5 years, I was told I needed to go to Cambridge University and get a PhD. There was no time for a BA. And yeah, the scientists told me I'd done everything wrong. I shouldn't have given the chimps names. I couldn't talk about personality, mind, or feeling. Those were unique to us. And fortunately, all through my childhood, I had a teacher who taught me, of course, animals have personalities, minds, and emotions. And that was my dog, Rusty. So gradually, as my first husband, Hugo van Lauwert, the photographer, came and filmed some of these things I was talking about, people had to believe. And then more and more people came out, and I got my degree, and so gradually this was accepted by science mainstream. In 1986, at a big conference where all the chimpanzee researchers came together from across Africa for the first time, there was a session on conservation, and it was shocking to see how chimpanzee numbers had plummeted since I began in 1960. The habitat was being destroyed, the forests were being opened up by foreign logging companies, making roads and providing transport for the meat from elephants, gorillas, chimpanzees, monkeys, antelopes, birds, bats, all of it, to be trucked into the cities where the urban elite will pay more for it than a bit of chicken and goat. And also at that same conference in 1986, a session on conditions in some captive situations, chimpanzees in medical research, in cages 5 foot by 5 foot, 7 foot high, imprisoned for 30, 40, or even 50 years just because they're so like us that people wanted to experiment on their bodies. When I arrived in 1960, there was forest all the way along the shores of Lake Tanganyika, where Gombe National Park is situated. You climb up the peaks of the Rift Escarpment there and look away from the lake, chimpanzee habitat, as far as you could see, few little villages. And a few years ago, if you went there, you would just see barren hills, more people living there than the land could support. And fortunately, because we started our Take Care program to improve the lives of these people living in huge poverty, they in turn have turned around to help us in our conservation efforts, put aside land for conservation around Gombe National Park from their different villages to form a buffer. And a couple of years ago, I could stand and look out over what had been bare hills and see trees up to 30 foot high. I think my greatest hope for the future lies in the young people who are involved in our Roots and Shoots program for youth. It's in 123 countries. All these young people designing their own projects, rolling up their sleeves, getting out there, taking action with all their enthusiasm and their energy. And that, combined with our extraordinary human intellect and the resilience of nature if we give her a chance. And this indomitable human spirit, the people tackling seemingly impossible things and simply not giving up, and so often succeeding. I had to do something. I had to.